Hey guys, what is up? Mike here. Thanks for tuning into another video. So in this video, I want to talk about how to get started designing for iOS or Android native apps when you don't have any experience. Okay, this is a very common scenario for product designers. You could have a lot of experience like myself, but haven't had a lot of experience designing primarily for native apps, either iOS or an Android device. All right, this has been the case for me. Years and years of experience, but primarily my work has been on web desktop applications, all right, not primarily native apps. When I worked at ADP, we had a group that worked primarily on the iOS apps, and I worked on the desktop apps. Sometimes we would cross, we would work some, I worked, obviously I spent some time working on the iOS apps. I spent some time working on a native Android device app for one of our tablet kiosks and things like that. When I was at CBS, I also worked, primarily I did the web-based stuff, but I spent time working on the CBS mobile iOS app as well. But overall, most of my experience had been on, desktop applications. So what do you do when you don't have that much experience, but you see these jobs out there looking for someone with experience working in mobile apps? Very common scenario. So here are some things that you can do to get started in showing that you can do designs for mobile applications, just as you can do it for desktop. Very simple stuff, very easy stuff. You don't have to go to school. You don't need a PhD. You don't even have to go buy a course right now, okay? Very simple stuff you can do over the next few weeks as you build out this project and learn just the constraints and patterns within a mobile app, all right? First and foremost, the first thing you do, start with your device. Okay, you have an Android device or you have an iPhone. I have an iPhone, so I would start with my iPhone, number one. What you're gonna do is go through your first 4 apps that you use the most. I did a search, mine was Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter. All right, these are some of the more popular ones that I use. I see that I'm using them all the time, okay? So this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna open up those apps and you're gonna do 15 to 20 screenshots per app. Yes, 15 to 20 screenshots per app. So this is how you do it. Open up your app like Twitter and go through a normal task flow that you would normally do. Like go through a normal session. I scroll, screenshot, click on a tweet, screenshot, click back, screenshot, click on the chat bubble or whatever, so the keyboard opens up, screenshot. All right, that's it. That's an important one. Okay, the keyboard is what we call a native component. That is a native, it is a specific component to the iOS or the operating system, all right? Same with when you click on a video, okay? You click on a full screen video, or you ever see a video where you go this way and then you turn it this way. The interface for that video player is native to the operating system. On the Apple device, this is called iOS, all right? On any Android device, it's Android, okay? So these are called native components, all right? So here's what you're gonna be doing when you're taking these screenshots. You take all these screenshots, 15 to 20 screenshots, and then you're gonna lay them out within Figma or Sketch, whatever your design tool is. Okay, lay them out like you're laying on a table. And then you're just gonna basically study. You're gonna study and get familiar with the patterns. See the consistencies in the usages of these native components, all right? In particular, the keyboard, when the keyboard pops up, you're gonna see these components in there. There might be some other ones outside of the, I don't know what other native components are used primarily in most of these apps, but you can do a Google search for iOS native components and see a list and see some different native components. Most of the design work that you see in these apps are custom. They're not using really native components outside of the major stuff like the keyboard, and the video players and stuff like that. Most of the stuff is design work, stuff that you would design for, right? But there are patterns, okay? As you look at these screens and you're working within a constraint, a specific size, right? Those are the things you're going to get familiar with. In fact, it's actually easier because you don't have to worry about different breakpoints. You're working in a normal constraint, right? You look at all these different apps and all these different screenshots, you're going to see patterns. All right, back buttons are where? At the top left. All right, so obviously these are for a reason, because Apple and any company wants apps to be in a uniform, have certain standards. So certain things are at the top, certain things are at the bottom, right? When you dive into a page, when you go deep into a page on a particular app that we've been using for 10 years, we know where the back button is, right? It's at the top left-hand corner. All right, so it's not at the bottom, it's not in the center of the button, at the bottom of the page. We already know, we look at the top left, okay? Those are patterns, and there are dozens and dozens and dozens of patterns that we have been used to for the last 10 plus years. These are the patterns that you are going to stick to. You see them in the apps that we use today. Like I said, those top 4 apps that you use, you see them, you're going to then apply these same rules to the apps that you're designing for. So the next step is for you to design a project, a personal project, obviously, and knowing the components, knowing the different native components, knowing different patterns, the icon sizes, the font sizes that you see patterns within these apps, you can apply these things to your project. That's simple. At the end of the day, showing this work and showing several amounts of projects within your portfolio is going to help you get you that foot in the door into a role where you might not have that experience working full time. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna go through your normal design process, define a problem, figure out the solution, go through your sketching, go through your creating a mood board, Dribbble, Pinterest, whatever, pull these in, and you build out, you design your native app, right? Using some of these components, some of these patterns and things like that. And then, as you start studying these different components, and then you're gonna do the same thing actually for an Android device. Okay, so you don't want for iOS, ask your friend. If you don't have an Android device, you don't want to spend $1,000 getting a phone, ask your friend, hey, let me chat with you. Let me spend 15, 20 minutes with you and take screenshots and email them to me, stuff like that. So that's how it saves you, money from not having to go out and get another device that is specific to that operating system. So just use your friends, have them email you the stuff, and do the same process and design project based around maybe an Android device. All right, if you started with the iOS, do that over and over again. Like I'm saying, the first 3 weeks you're studying, you're learning about native components, you're learning about these patterns, and then as you're building out these projects, that's how you're going to get to the point to where you have enough experience and you can speak on these things intelligently when you're speaking to a recruiter, speaking to a hiring manager, because you've gone through all this experience, this legwork of research and studying and understanding the terminology between how all these patterns work, the headers, the navigation bars, all this stuff, right? And you can talk about the different patterns and talk about the native components that are used for these apps and what's standard, and that will push you along and help you out. Your portfolio obviously is your ticket, right? So you putting in the work, working on your portfolio, working on projects is going to help you there. And then as you talk about these things through your research, and you're talking through these things to recruiters and hiring managers, it'll go a long way. That's how you get started. All right, we all have to start somewhere. You don't have to go spend $1 million trying to get a course. Do this on your own. Go through this exercise and learn, study, do an audit, understand this stuff, and apply them to your projects. That's it. Anyway, guys, hopefully you gain a nugget or two from this. Hopefully this is something that benefits you. You can get started on these things and go through this exercise and do this stuff yourself. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. If you're just starting and you don't have a design process, because the design process is the same for a native app as it is for a desktop application that is, that has responsive, that has breakpoints and all that stuff. The process is the same. The techniques are a little different. If you are interested in learning my design process, you can do so. Go to my site, ML UX Academy. The link is in the description. Click on that link and get access to my course. Look over my shoulder as I go through my design process step by step. You can also go to my site, use the contact link and ask me any questions. I'll be happy to correspond back with you and answer any questions that you may have. As always, thanks for watching. Hit that thumbs up if you like things I talk about. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell to be notified anytime I go live or drop a new video. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.